Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon One Pickups.
Hey, it's me, Todd Novak. Happy to have you with us, and happy to have you listening to our special guests on the line.
Johnny Balmer, Alchemy Audio.
Victoria Thede, Alchemy Audio.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
People,
Hello.
man and woman.
Yeah.
It could be just a little boy.
Yeah, it could be.
But we know it's not.
But it's not. So, yeah, we have Alchemy Audio on the line in concert, both of them.
In stereo.
Working
Yes.
together.
That's right.
So we're very happy to have them back, early guests, and we're going to talk about some super fun guitar stuff. We've had a very eventful week,
Oh, yes.
and in many ways,
Yippers.
and we want to share that with everybody. Why don't we go ahead and get a few things that we get to talk about guitar stuff? This is not a psychology show or something. We can talk about guitar stuff.
That's right.
That's rad. I'm going to up my attitude right now, and you can up yours.
Oh.
Hey.
Up it up.
Yeah. Okay. So,
I'm always
anyways,
up. I don't know.
Tony's got some stuff. Here he goes, everybody.
All right. So I know there's a lot of people listening out there. At least the numbers show us that. And if you like what we are doing here, I mean, I like it. I know Jared likes it.
Love it.
Todd sort of likes it, but
It's all right.
he does. He gets by. But, you can show how much you like listening to this by becoming a patron on patreon.com.
Mm-hmm.
For less than the cost of a really cheap capacitor, and I mean a really cheap one, you can help us keep this podcast moving forward every month, every week, every day, every hour.
It's not a utility, but that's all right. Actually, it
Okay.
should be. It should be your guitar utility.
It should be.
That's
It's like
right.
Batman's utility belt.
All right.
There it is.
And if you feel like buying something, say, how about like a Bumblebee capacitor?
A Lux
All right.
Bumblebee?
No, not a Lux.
Okay.
Just
Wow.
just a nice Bumblebee
This is
capacitor.
riveting.
All right.
Keep going.
I mean, that would help so much. It would help
It would.
support, and I believe if I look at my records that
Yes.
at that level
Uh-huh.
you would qualify for a complimentary
Stickers.
stickers, T-shirts,
Well, not for a capacitor.
a Bumblebee capacitor
Yeah.
would set you
They're
back.
expensive.
Okay, whatever.
He doesn't know,
I'm not
He
gonna
doesn't know any better.
capacitors.
Todd.
Okay, keep
So
going.
basically, if you want to show your support,
Page 2.
Page 2. That's my Paul Harvey impersonation. You can go to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. And we really do appreciate your support, your feedback, your praise,
All those things.
all of it. And it really makes us feel good. I mean, we were at a show this weekend, and we had a lot of people come up and say, hey, we heard you guys, we listen to you all the time. And that makes us feel even better than all the fun that we have putting this thing together.
Heard damn good.
Yeah. So
Thanks, guys.
Patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. It's easy, painless, and a little goes a long way.
You get your name right on the thing.
Sometimes.
Is that your new thing? Is that what you're going to do? Jeez. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for doing that. So,
That was the
Thank you,
abbreviated
Tony.
version.
hey, everyone. We are going to talk about guitar stuff right
Yes,
now.
I'm
Let's
talking.
do it.
Let's talk.
I'm all in.
Our actual first time guest, we're going to have her lead off what is going on in her guitar world this week.
All right. Tell them what you were working on today.
So tell them what I'm working on today.
Yeah, like in the shop.
Oh yeah, today I was we are finishing up our very last the final 3 of our lab series preamps. So I'm building those out, and
I think we mentioned those on the previous show.
yeah.
So the end of the run, if you've been sleeping on these,
Right?
this is your
we have
final
an order
chance.
for 1, and there's 2 left. So
Yeah.
get on it and get one.
Those are pretty rad. I've seen them in person. I've held one.
Yes.
It's kind of exciting. And actually, that kind of, from our previous episode with JJ Tanis, we were talking about the future of, amps on stage and stuff like that. And I was kind of joking at the show. We saw some really righteous-looking old vintage Gibson amps, and those have a reputation for being difficult to get fixed.
They have a certain je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, they have a certain one of those. And I said, all you really have to do is buy one of those, rip the guts out, and stick a amp in a box in the back, and it would be really cool, and no one would even know.
Right?
And whether
I think that'd be-
I don't know that I'm suggesting that per se, fooling the audience. Because certainly no rock stars do that.
No.
No.
Everybody's legit.
Yes, all those cabinets are all plugged in.
They're
Oh,
all
yeah.
full of
Yes.
speakers.
Absolutely, they are.
But what Johnny, what you guys are making over there, that's one of them things that'll do that pretty well, right?
It's the future.
Yes.
Right.
We're making a
Future is available now.
Yes.
Yep. Be a part of it.
Yes.
Well, for a limited time.
Yes.
At some point, we'll probably see like bumper stickers and like T-shirts that say, "You can have my tube when you pry it from my cold dead hands." Like a screaming eagle or something.
The NTA.
And
Yeah.
a big waving
National Tube
flag
Association.
behind.
Yeah. That sounds fun.
So, also what we've kind of been cooking up, excuse the pun. We've been working on a web series called Soul Kitchen, and it's with
SOLE.
SOLE. Yes,
As in the
and
fish.
it's and it's with Consequence of Sound and Flow Motion Media, and they're short webisodes, and basically the premise is that we're paired up with the musician, and we each build a pedal for them to play, and then they play it, and they get to choose and keep which one they like. And the first episode is actually available, and it's with Miranda Winters from Milk Belly out of Chicago. And then we filmed a second one, but it's not available. And it's with Alex White from White Mystery. And just as a spoiler, for the first episode, Miranda chose my pedal. Haha.
Nice.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, which pedal? Oh, we can't tell which pedal it is, right?
No, yeah, we can tell.
Yeah.
It's because the episode is live as we speak, so you can go to the Consequence of Sound website, and it was a color sound one knob fuzz.
Oh, that's fun.
Each of us built from scratch on Vero board, and then we did. If you watch the episode, you'll see the cool swirl painting enclosure that Victoria did.
Nice.
And they kind of demonstrate that technique a little bit. And then Miranda from Milk Belly plays both of them. And we put some different transistors in each one for different flavors. And she chose Victoria's.
Nice. Super
Go
cool.
me.
Go you.
Very cool. Moving on. Let's go to Jared.
Well, I finally, just because of the way I said, well,
yeah.
I know. I finally got a guitar from a fellow named Chase that I've been admiring for a while. And
He's burping while he's
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Talking.
Totally not burping right now. I'm just kind of out of thought.
Yeah.
It helps him think.
It's gonna be a long night for you, Jared. We're gonna
Probably.
your
So,
ribs are gonna hurt.
Chasing Vintage Guitars. He's out of Delaware, Ohio, and we interviewed him a little while back. But he makes a fantastic design,
An
fantastic
original
guitar.
design.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the Iceman, just a touch.
Little
with the-
Firebirdy, little Ice
Yeah,
little
just a little
Gibson
everything.
artist.
Yeah.
And so I saw him at the show over the weekend, and I don't know. He just gave me a deal I couldn't refuse, an offer I couldn't refuse. So I
Well, that
took
is
it,
one
so.
that you had been looking at that model for
It's-
a long time.
Well, yeah, it's lightweight and it's got the neck profile that I really like. So
What more can you ask
and it
for?
looks
right.
amazing.
He gave me a really great deal on it, and really happy about it. So I can't wait to put some of my own pickups in it. And
We need to put some pictures up on the Facebook group when you get that dialed in.
sure.
Yeah.
So that was a really big deal because I've been eyeing on his guitars for a while, and I'm really happy that.
And he
he's
got it at the
local.
show, which is always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's like a memento.
Gorgeous guitars, I can attest. I saw them in person.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really excited about it. So now I own a few from a guy from Catawba named Denny Kopp, and now from a guy in Delaware.
That sounds
So-
totally fake. I know a few from a guy from Catawba. I don't know, like
Catawba Island
I know.
near
I
Port
just-
Clinton,
I'm
Ohio.
just
Yeah, it's
making-
there.
that's yes.
So anyway,
It sounds like something Kramer, would have said.
Vandelay Industries.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's right.
there it is. Mandalay
Yeah.
Industry.
Bob Sacamano.
that's right.
Bob Sacamano's got a whole bunch of those.
Yes, and all donations go to the Human Fund.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool. I'm very excited. Jared was tippy-toeing, prancing around, falsetto, screaming that he was got a new guitar, which is a sight. If you can envision that in your mind, that's exactly what happened. It was
Yes.
great. It was great to see you that excited about.
Yeah, I
something.
was walking up to those guys I said, I got a new guitar. I sang the Nan Nana Boo Boo song about it. So
Yes,
it was great.
yes, you did.
It was scary.
Yes, it was. Tony,
Oh,
give us the good stuff.
the good stuff. Well, the past couple.
me something good.
There it is. Waiting for
So the last couple of weeks I've been talking about the Bacon Belmont. So I'm not going to talk about that today.
Thank goodness.
But I will say that my TV Jones T. Armand pickups just arrived for said Bacon Belmont project.
That's right.
But I'm going to talk about something completely
you
different.
just said that though.
I know.
All right.
I just do this to irritate.
No, that actually did just arrive, like right before we hit
Literally.
record.
Literally
so that's
as-
fair game.
So that was
I will allow that.
that
The
was
judges will
happening
allow
this
that.
hour.
Well done,
Yes.
Tom.
But I did want to talk about something, and
Is this like a Patreon talk, or what's this gonna be?
I had to get my thoughts together.
Okay.
Right.
So I had been hankering to make a John Fogerty 1969 Rickenbacker 325 replica.
Okay.
Briefly, it was the same guitar that he played back in the 60s, when Creedence Clearwater Revival was there. And Rick 325 is the same model that John Lennon played. John Fogerty's was essentially the same model, except it was sunburst.
Mm-hmm.
It had an exposed F-hole on the top. And he had made a number of changes that I read in some interviews that he said, after all those changes, I felt that it shouldn't say Rickenbacker on the headstock anymore. So he took the truss rod cover and painted the word Acme on it because he was a big fan of the Roadrunner.
Right.
And
wow.
everything in the Warner Brothers was Acme Company.
Well, that's why the truss rod cover's not on.
Yeah,
there
I have
now,
to
right?
finish that.
We're
So
actually
So it's
looking
essentially
at it.
nothing like John's guitar.
it's similar in shape, size, and scale length. It's a short scale, 22
No,
and a half.
John Lennon's.
It's, yes.
That's a mini guitar, man.
But yeah, I can't, I got, these
Yes. Bear paws.
sausage fingers.
Right.
So I can't really play it anyhow, but I did
Mutton
want to put
chops.
one together. And I found, I really hesitated to spend $2,000 or $2,500 and then make something a mess of it. So I found a replica of a RIC 325, and so I'm modding that out. So I feel a lot better.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean it's a couple $100 versus ruining a $2,500 guitar because he put
It's a parts and backer.
Yeah, essentially. So
that was terrible.
I mean, it's it doesn't meet official Rickenbacker aficionado standards.
Sure,
but it's a hell of a lot easier.
Well, you're
on my
kind of
pocketbook.
one of them, so if you like it, I suppose others will.
Snob. But so the big difference is John Fogerty had put a full size humbucker in the bridge position, and had two other middle and a neck toaster pickup. And there were some other changes. There's a Bigsby on it and a couple of other things. So it's probably 3/4 of the way there. It still needs some setup work, and of course the truss rod cover needs to be repainted with the word Acme. But that was a cool project that I've been trying to put together for better part of a year, and it finally just came together. And
It's got the glossy fretboard.
it has a finished fretboard, just like a Rickenbacker.
Yeah. Well, all right, man.
That's my story.
Okay.
And I'm
Well,
sticking
you have
to
to
it.
take loads of pictures and stuff when you get it all
Well,
done.
interestingly, I put a picture of the body up on
Yeah.
Instagram, and I've gotten more hits off of that
Yeah.
than any other thing I've posted on Instagram.
Yeah.
Hashtag PickGuardian1.
Right. Johnny, hit me.
Yes. All right. Well, we've been just kind of catching up with some projects in the shop. Typical day for us would be, maybe doing a few pedal mods, doing a few repairs that came through the shop. There was one pedal that I built. So never a dull moment. Lots of stuff to work on. I've got an amp project sitting in the corner that I'd like to dive into eventually. So hopefully I'll get to that soon. Who knows? You might be starting to see Alchemy Audio amps in addition to pedals soon,
That'd be rad.
Yeah.
if time
rad.
permits.
Cool.
Something I've had an interest in a while. It's just a matter of carving out the time.
Excellent.
Tube amplification or solid state?
Yes.
Tubes.
Yes.
Very cool.
Solid Satyr is
No,
it too?
no, it's a little Fender Tweed Champ
Oh, okay.
little kit that I'll kind of get familiar with, and then we'll
Bust it out of the box.
yeah, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah,
Nice.
just don't
That'd
put
be
any guts in it. And put that one of those.
Yeah, put one of your lap pedals in there.
We're
That'd be the
tricking
thing.
you all.
See, that's going to be my thing. Is like I'm just going to put like a Boss DS1 inside of an enclosure.
There you go.
Yeah, this thing sounds cool.
Nice. Let's see. Well, me and mine.
Yeah, what did you get?
I finally got a new case for my
That's right.
Les Paul Special.
Oh, did you find one?
I did.
Yeah.
Double
Heath?
cutaway from Heath at Rock and Roll Vintage.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm just surprised he actually had one because I couldn't find one of these things anywhere.
That guy has everything.
Yeah. And it had the the pink plush on the inside. It was a brown
Nice.
leatherette case. So it was cool, and he gave me a really good deal on it. Like
Yeah.
right off the bat, he's like, "It's this. You guys are here. I'm gonna hook you up." So
Awesome.
I'm a fan of that shop.
Yes.
Yep, they're good people.
Yeah.
So I got to bring that back, and
Did
I'm
you
very
try
excited.
it out? Try
I
it
did,
out?
yeah. First, as soon as
Fits
I
good?
put it right in there, and it's like a glove.
No.
Did you have to explain to your wife why you left with 2 cases and came back with 3?
I put it downstairs really fast.
Excellent.
Yeah, because they will think it's another guitar, and I
Yeah,
didn't want to
cases,
have to do all that business.
It's okay. Don't worry. Johnny's had to stop explaining to me because I'm just like, you're just going to buy what you're going to buy. Another lap steel? Sure, whatever.
It's a shop expense.
Yes,
Come on.
Right.
It's all right. Yeah, we can write all this off.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anyways, cool. So that's fun. Everybody did some cool stuff. Johnny, you know what time it is?
What time is it?
1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor.
4 on the floor. First one to be an EQ pedal My preference is a Boss GE7 modified by Alchemy Audio. But I would say in just about any rig, an EQ pedal is kind of a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
And it can correct a lot of deficiencies, both with guitar, amp, venue. I would recommend that anyone have one. You can obviously use it to like boost solos. You can use it to carve out any like treble frequencies in a particular amp or guitar. So if you switch a lot, it's a great thing to have. That'd be my first one.
So if someone were to send or bring to you a graphic EQ pedal, and you were gonna make some modifications to it, I mean, what kind of things would you do primarily?
Well, with the Boss one in particular, they're notoriously noisy in stock form. So I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but even when you decrease frequencies, it actually adds hiss and noise into the signal.
Yeah.
And so with a few circuit mods, you can kind of correct that. Obviously, with something like an EQ, we're not trying to like change the tone of it or anything like that. So it's just
you're just making it a little better overall.
Making it a little quieter, and you know, there is a little bit of shimmer added to it, I would say, but nothing that's gonna, you know, drastically change it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. EQ, first one. Next one, I'm a big fan of the exotic EP booster.
And many are.
I know it's kind of
sitting in this room, or so, at least one sitting in this room.
Man, I love this thing. It's just, you know, and it's hard to explain even what it does. It's a little seasoning on your tone. So
it's salt and pepper.
Yeah, and you know, we have a ton of guitars and pedals and amps in the shop, and one of my favorite things to do when I'm just kicking back and just kind of playing for the fun of it is to run an EP booster in front of an old Vibro Champ that I have, and
nice.
just play through that without any other effects, and it's just, man.
Does it color the tone at all?
It does, yeah. It adds a little bit of like high end. People seem to like them with Strats in particular, but I just find that what it does to the tone is really pleasing, and you know, they're supposed to be modeled after the preamp section of an old Echoplex, because a lot of people would plug into those without using the actual echo effect, and it was just that tube preamp that kind of colored the sound, and people liked what it did. I'm not convinced that it's an accurate representation of the Echoplex preamp, but that's the idea behind it, and what it does do is really kind of pleasing. So,
well, and that's why if you do a search for those and you put in the EP3, which I believe it's also like called somewhere in its title as well. If you do search for EP3, you'll get that pedal as well as the Echoplex.
Yes.
So it's got to be something in the SEO where it is maybe referencing the Echoplex in some way where you get both of those.
Yeah. And there's another, I think it's Dunlop that makes the Echoplex pedal.
Yep.
It doesn't sound nearly as good in my opinion.
Yeah.
The exotic pedal is just, I mean, you're a guy that likes to modify pedals. I mean, have you ever thought of any modification that you would do to something like that?
Yeah, we have one for that. It's you're familiar with the dip switches that are inside there. Mm-hmm. So
I'm familiar with these dip switches at the table.
Hey-o. So the mod was born out of a customer approached us and wanted to relocate those to the outside in the form of toggle switches, so that they did a lot of recording and switching guitars and amps, and they wanted to be able to adjust those without having to take the bottom base plate off every time. So we do that.
What do the dip switches do in that pedal?
They change. Is it the gain settings that they change?
There's two different versions. Gain or volume, I guess you would call it, and then the treble setting on it.
Yes.
So you can adjust those.
Okay.
And the toggle switches on the outside are handy because then you can adjust them on the fly if you're switching guitars or.
I picked that one up. I remember because I said, "Holy moly! how did you get all these toggles in that little tiny box?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I think we're the only ones that's doing that mod. I've never seen anyone else offering
Will
it.
you
It
do
was
me
just-
a favor and throw a picture of that up on the Facebook group
Yeah.
with a link? Because that is really cool. I mean,
Yeah,
and it looks wicked too, because you're like, who has a pedal with like 27 dip switches or 27 toggles? I do.
And we do it to the SP compressor and the SL drive, and I know there's a few other exotic pedals that have those. So yeah,
Yeah, super cool.
but so moving on to the next one, I would say my Empress Tremolo. I'm a self-confessed tremolo junkie, and it's by far my favorite effect. I would much rather have tremolo on an amp than reverb. I own a lot of tremolo pedals, and my top three are still the Empress, which I still have at home and mess around with, the original full-tone Super Trem, and the big black box, and then the modified Boss TR2 that we do.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now I have, a Chase Bliss Gravitas. I love that. That's a great rabbit hole to fall down, and I could lose myself for hours adjusting all the little switches and settings. But there's something to be said for just something that it has the settings you need, and you can dial in a variety of different tremolo flavors, but it's not overwhelming. And so that's why I kind of like the Empress one. Is it's got all the settings you would want, but it's not overkill, and it sounds amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. And the last one is kind of a sleeper pedal that I don't hear discussed a lot, but I love it. Durham Electronics Sex Drive.
Ugh.
I know. All right, so
It says sex on it.
Excellent commentary.
silly name aside, this pedal's been a mainstay on my board for a lot of years, and it's kind of a transparent boost overdrive, but it also has some compression that creates this like kind of punchy sustain. I think I first heard about it because Doyle Bramhall uses one, and it's just this great kind of always on boost, mild compressor kind of thing. But I love it. You'd have to try one out to see if it is for you or not, but I really enjoy it.
Rad.
So there you go.
Are those hard to come by?
No, they still make them. The older ones are in a different enclosure than the newer ones. The newer ones are in like a smaller enclosure.
Which
I
one
don't
do
know
you
that
have?
there's any difference in circuit. They goop the circuit, so it's really hard to
Oh.
Reverse
Analyze.
engineer. Yeah.
Which one do you have? The old one or the new one?
I have the old one, and I love it.
Cool.
And it's just kind of an always on kind of thing. Especially any kind of Fender amps, just like run it in front of those, and it sounds great.
You know, it's a weird thing. We get a lot of people who do their four on the floor, and they say, "I have the old one." And it is rare that you find that the new version of a pedal is better. It's weird that way.
Well, I think a lot of times, I mean, especially if it for made in the USA pedals that have shifted over to overseas production. The original series definitely is better componentry, and there's maybe some mojo with the guy that came up with the pedal.
Yeah.
This is the one that actually built the pedal.
Could be.
I think that's the case with a lot of that stuff. Is it's oftentimes hand wired by the original builder before they maybe went into mass production or assembly, and so whether or not they sound different or better might be debatable, but it's just more the collectability of it.
Yeah. Oh, there's something to be said for, you can attach a value to anything. And I think especially in the guitar world, we tend to attach a value to things that often have no added actual value at all.
Right.
It's something for us to get excited about,
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the cool part about all this nonsense.
Exactly.
All right, man, that's a good board. I like it.
Thanks.
I've got two of your four. I think those were on my Were those
Well,
on? No.
he didn't technically say it was was a super trim. He says some of his pedals
that's
are
right.
super
That's
trim.
right. You like
But
the super
I
trim,
love
too.
the Super Trem, and that has a sound all its own. That,
Yeah.
You know, that optical tremolo, man.
Yeah.
Something about that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know, you were kind of talking about some of the things that you were doing, you know, your mods and all that stuff. Before we get into our main topic, which is the gear swap, why don't you tell us a little about what's going on at your shop these days, and you know, some cool things that you're doing, where you're headed, etc.
Yeah, well, I think Victoria touched on a little bit. One of the newest kind of big projects that we've been working on is this this web series that we're doing with Consequences Sound and Flow Motion Media. So that's been kind of fun, having camera crews in our tiny, humble shop and doing these little short web series. But otherwise, you know, we just completed assembling our last batch of the Seriatone Klon pedals. I don't know if you guys have seen those or heard about those. They've been generating a lot of buzz in the gear community, it seems like, and we did 3 separate batches of those that we were taking pre-orders for. If you order them direct from Seriatone, there's about a 1,400 plus wait list for
Holy
them.
moly.
Yeah, but it's a pretty faithful, you know, replica of the circuit, down to the enclosure, which is the thing that everyone always kind of misses about the original. But he found a manufacturer that could, you know, cast a replica of the original Klon enclosure. So at a glance, you'd think it was the real deal.
Yep.
I'm really sad that we didn't get the dick butt. What?
No, you're not sad about that.
The dick butt one. Cracks me up so much.
Yeah, so
Dick butt.
you had your choice of graphics. You could get horsey, no horsey, or dick butt.
All right.
I don't know that Jared's ever seen that one.
I hadn't seen it until Johnny showed me. So
Now I'm curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Don't-
go, Jared. Why don't you Google that?
No.
Wait, actually, don't. Now, and you're doing the aluminum enclosure, right? The aluminum color enclosure.
Yes, I
Okay.
believe in the future he's going to offer a gold option too,
Okay.
but that wasn't an option. But yeah, so we did that for people that wanted it professionally assembled, but didn't want to wait the, you know, however long it would be for him to, you know, get through that waiting list.
Right.
We're kind of over that. It was fun while it lasted, but we've moved on to other things. So it was a fun little project, and we just finished shipping out the most recent batch, which I think is going to be our final batch. So,
Nice.
but otherwise, yeah, just keeping up with the constant flow of stuff that comes through the shop, and there's no shortage. We just did some stuff for David Bryson from Counting Crows. That was kind of fun.
Cool.
Sweet.
Just kind of emailed us out of the blue and said, hey, we're playing in town. Can I drop off some EQ pedals for you to modify? And he invited us out to the show they were playing, and we got to hang out with him a little bit. He came by the next day and spent about an hour in our shop just hanging out and chatting. And
Can I just say, his pedals were incredibly clean. Like, sometimes you'll open up a pedal and you never know what you're going to get. Like, there will be, like, bug carcasses falling out of it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, but his pedals were, like, impeccable.
Wow.
So it was very nice to work on.
So cool. You got some of those kicking. Are there any new pedals that are kind of maybe come out recently that you're planning a mod for?
Russian.
Oh, yeah. The Electro Harmonics reissued the green Russian
Uh-huh.
in a smaller enclosure. And I think the day that it came out, we had already posted a modification where we add a mids knob to it. That's always
Oh, that's cool.
the critique of big muff type circuits is that scooped mid tone, which sounds great sometimes when you're playing in your bedroom, but the minute you get into a full band setting, you just get kind of buried in the mix. And so there's a variety of, you know, clones and different offerings from companies that already have a mids knob. And so we added one to the Big Muff Russian reissue, and so far it's been a hit. We've sold several of those.
That's cool. Now,
Yeah.
are you taking people's? Are you supplying those, or does somebody send you their pedal? Like, how does that work for you?
We do both.
Either one, yeah.
We're an electro-harmonics dealer, so with any of those pedals, we carry new ones in stock.
Cool. Okay.
Modify and offer them. Same with exotic, so any of the EP boosters. So people can buy one new from us, modified, or send us one to modify.
And
Nice.
also-
So, to remind people of what I failed to do at the very beginning is kind of explain your shop a little bit. And if you haven't gotten the gist, everybody who's listening and isn't familiar with Alchemy, I apologize for not setting that up. But you guys mod pedals and lots of
mod
other
repair.
things.
Yep.
If
We
you
do a
have
bit of
something,
everything. It's never a dull moment in our shop. So we do a lot of repairs. We do a lot of modifications. We've gotten more into like custom builds for people, but then we also do like instrument cables. We actually give classes out of our shop on pedal building.
We do
really
a
cool.
little bit of amp modification.
Yeah, when time permits. So that's what kind of keeps what we do interesting, is that it's not just cranking out the same thing every day. It's like
Right.
it really is change day in and day out.
so if someone has one of their favorite pedals and wish they could do something else, you might be the people they might want to call then, huh?
Yeah.
Possibly. Or if it's broken, we'll fix it for you.
Oh, yeah. Make a broken one better. Can you mod this to work? Cool. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. Aside from running your shop, you've also been very, very busy with this big fat gear swap that we all went to.
Yes.
At Fort Knox Studios.
Yes.
We made the trip. As soon as you said, hey, we're doing a gear swap, we rallied the knobs and we said, all right, road trip. And it really was a very memorable road trip. I mean, borderline planes, trains, and automobile style.
Definitely.
As we
Well,
will,
let's just say the first 7/8 of the trip were excellent.
yes, they were.
Yeah.
It shows you that you're in good company. You definitely have some passion about something. We spent, 7-8 hours? And I don't think we stopped talking about guitar stuff the entire time from when we picked up.
Yeah. It's a sickness.
That was great. It was great to be able to do that and not have, nothing's forced. There wasn't any, no dead air or anything. I mean, maybe we could have used some dead air.
At least some fresh air.
Yeah, maybe some fresh air.
Oh, yeah. Four guys.
Don't stop
in
at
a van.
Chipotle if you're on the way to Chicago.
Yes, the
long
world's
line.
slowest Chipotle.
It
Yes.
was slow, man.
It was rough.
And I kept talking about that in line.
Yeah, Jared doesn't like slow fast food. So, anyways, we get there and we were at a great Airbnb.
Yeah.
And we had
Fantastic.
we split up, and Mike and I went to go get some pizza, and we got completely drenched in the rain. It was pouring.
That was a horrible day. It was raining so relentlessly.
Yes.
I saw a guy building an ark.
Yeah, maybe, seriously. And then we got to go over and meet Johnny and his whole crew, and it was great because, as a previous guest, we've only had, our relationship exists over the microphone, and just when you're able to make that connection with somebody, it's really great. You were very hospitable, and we got to hang out, and I got to listen to a guy bow a banjo.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. That sounded beautiful. It was a real treat. Some really talented artists were playing at this little tiny club. It was Sylvie's, right?
Yep. Yep.
I enjoyed myself thoroughly, and then we tried to get home, and we were completely soaked by the time because we were walking like idiots. But we felt it was close enough. We all met up, and then the whole rest of the night, we sat up and played guitar and sang and
And Jared and I aren't allowed to
Noodled and-
explain what we did.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, jump in. Jump in. I know, me.
You guys were conspicuously absent from the.
Yeah, where were you?
Well, up to this point, you guys weren't with us. So please tell me what you guys did.
I have a cousin, Scotty, that lives in town. His wife is a hairdresser, and Scotty, he's a company representative and for a shipping company, I believe.
Yes.
And we met up with him at a restaurant. We watched a little bit of football and ordered some drinks, and we visited. We had a really good time.
What kind of football did we watch?
We watched the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Oh, the Ohio State
That's
University.
Right. Yeah, they beat the crap out of Nebraska.
Oh, boy, yeah.
So, yeah, we caught
Nothing
up
wrong if you like Nebraska, by the way. Keep listening.
That's right. Great team.
We love the Husk corn here in Ohio, too.
That's right. But it was just a really good time to catch up with good old cousin Scotty, have some family time there. And
You say he's a shipping guy?
he represents a shipping
He's
company.
an import-export guy.
Yeah, Do they have a dog?
No, they don't.
Okay.
No. They're going to actually try to move to Columbus. And if they do, that would be great.
Well, let's have him on the show.
We'll see. So anyways.
But we had a good time, and
Yes.
we were in a nice, safe place when the monsoon was hitting.
We were
Chicago.
right by the windows, though. So at the end of the night, there was water on the floor from that rain.
Yes.
And but great night.
Yeah.
There wasn't a dull
moment.
moment.
No.
No.
And I believe I heard that was the record rainfall for a single day in Chicago.
Wow.
To give people an idea of like it was pouring rain nonstop for about 24 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
And not just like some light drizzle, like, oh, it's unpleasant out. It was like
Sheets of rain.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Pretty bad. So we all met up at the end.
Yes,
at the
and
end
we
of the
actually
night?
got back to the
We all walked in
at
at the same
exactly
place.
The same time.
same
We
time,
were
which
walking
was-
through the door at the same time.
And we all got up there and we just hung out and played. We had guitars laying around and it was great. It was like that was just a really special time. So next day, we all got up and headed down to the big gear swap. Johnny, why don't you kind of set up what we were walking into?
So this was here. Why don't you tell about it?
It was our second gear swap. We did one. You want to hear something hilarious? Is like memory. You know how Facebook does those like memory photos.
Yeah.
There was one that had popped up on my
Feed.
and it was like a photo from the gear swap, but last year we had it on a Saturday, and the gear swap that we had last year, it was on a Saturday, and there were roughly about like 20 vendors.
Yeah, a little less. I think
Yeah.
like 17-ish.
Yeah, it was much smaller. The space that we're in is they call it the hangar, and we had only previously occupied about half of the space. How big would you say it is? It's
7,200 square feet.
So, there you go.
He knows exact numbers.
I do, because I had to fill that space with vendors. So
So how many tables does that actually equal out to be about?
we had 90 tables in there. 98.
Wow.
90 tables, everybody.
Now,
And it was
that's more than I thought were in there.
Yeah, over 50 vendors, and it was like a game of Jenga to try and do the floor layout the day before.
Yeah, it took us from probably 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. to try and get the layout, because the hangar is kind of angled in. I don't know if you like happen to notice that
It was a little trapezoidal.
Yeah.
and I would look at it and I'd be like, oh my God, that freaks me out so much.
But it worked. It looked fine.
We've made it work.
It would have been really awkward if you guys showed up and I didn't have a table for you on the floor.
That would have been bad.
The tables were really long, too. I appreciate that, because there's not a lot of tables that are
Because
that
Jared's
long.
a big guy, and he likes a long table.
No, honestly, there's 8-foot tables, 6-foot tables, 10-foot tables.
Pineapple shrimp, lemon shrimp, coconut shrimp, pepper shrimp, shrimp soup, shrimp stew, shrimp salad, shrimp and potatoes, shrimp burger, shrimp sandwich.
So in addition to these vendors buying and selling mostly, gear and assorted ephemera, records and whatnot, we had food trucks, we had live music throughout the day, we had giveaways throughout the day. We gave away guitar
Tons
bowls,
of giveaways.
all kinds of stuff.
I'm sorry? Tons of giveaways.
I've never been to a show.
I've never been to a show that had so many giveaways. Yeah. And basically, if you attended the show and bought a ticket, you probably would have walked out with a prize.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
It was excellent.
Yeah. I gave the shirt off my back, literally.
Is in addition to the vendors that were able to actually participate and travel and set up a table, I was really impressed with the amount of companies, mostly larger companies, that we reached out to and said, hey, this is what we're doing. This is the concept behind it. Is there anything that you could donate, to give away to people at the event? And we had people like Electro Harmonics, Earthquaker Devices, like all these, larger companies.
Exotic was a big one.
That were like, hey, no problem. How much do you want? What do you want? And it, just the generosity that they all had was really, impressive and appreciated. So all you have to do is ask sometimes, and people are more than willing to respond appropriately. So it was great.
I really like where the show was at that studio. It just gave it, I don't know, to me more of a welcoming feeling than going into a big hall.
Yes, and
it just felt...
we're really fortunate. Like, we've all probably done those like suburban hotel banquet hall trade show kind of thing, which is it's totally fine. It is what it is. But we are actually in the city limits proper. The building that our shop is in is home to about 125 band rehearsal rooms, 6 professional recording studios, sound stages. They do a lot of television and film shoots in there, different, entertainment related businesses.
It's a maze, man. It's huge.
Yeah. Fort Knox just purchased and opened a building in Nashville with the same kind of, same facilities. And so they've really kind of hit on something.
We could use one in Columbus. I'll tell you.
No kidding.
Branch out here.
A lot of cities. I think that, we've all probably been familiar with like the dingy, roach infested, unsecure rehearsal facilities that are kind of typical of most places. And these are like real high end, really nice, still very affordable for musicians.
You won't find pantyhose over a hanger for a pop screen at Fort Knox.
Not that there's anything wrong.
That's going to be their slogan.
No, they've really hit on something where they're creating this community within the music industry of like-minded businesses, and so we're really lucky to have access to this space that we can rent, that they use for a variety of different things. They use it for television and film shoots. They use it for other meetings and conventions and stuff. And so we just kind of take this over for the day and fill it with vendors selling their wares. And this was a really big step up from the first one that we had last year. So we couldn't be happier with how it went.
Yeah, it was a great amount of traffic. I think what was interesting.
It's like I'm kind of speaking from like the event organizer, but I am curious for you guys from like a vendor standpoint, like what your experience was like.
I had a great experience.
Good.
I sold a lot of stuff. I just packed up a bunch of some, blems and customer returns and things like that.
And for those that may not be as familiar, Tony, tell them what you do.
I make custom pick guards for guitars.
Okay, thank you.
And and then I had some, I literally dumped my parts drawer, one of my parts drawers, into some containers and priced some stuff.
That's what everybody wants to fish around in.
They love that stuff, yeah. But I had I had an excellent experience there.
You shared a table with a very handsome fellow.
Oh, he had these Halloween colored T-shirts.
All right.
That's kind of an inside joke here because
I don't know. It's not so inside anymore.
Well, now it's outside. It's an outside kind of joke.
It's a good shirt.
It's a cool. Is that a guitar?
They're for sale. Why don't you send me an email and I will? You can buy one from us.
How much are they?
You're at $20, yeah.
That's an excellent price.
Yeah, but at the show, when I go to shows, I drop
were-
them. They were $10.
They were half price.
Yep.
So my
It's funny
table,
though, because I have one of your T-shirts and I was going to wear it, but then I was like, well, yeah, I'm from Alchemy, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys will be wearing your own T-shirts.
Yep.
So
And we were.
I kind of had to nix the idea.
Totally.
That's
get that.
okay. Totally
I
understandable.
wear it all the time.
Cool.
I had a really good experience as well. I sold some product and I made some good.
And Jared, what is it that you do?
I build pickups for a living, guitar pickups. So I sold a few new sets and I made some really good contacts with some other dealers there. And
I saw your pickups the next day at Midwest Buy and Sell.
Nice. Yeah. I sold with
Just-
those guys, and he's a really good guy. He always buys a few sets here and there. And I made a contact with a fellow across the way, and we might be designing some mods for some Thunderbird bass pickups. So these little things like that are all worth the while of me attending these shows, making new contacts, and I actually had a couple of customers get a hold of me and have some custom things done as well that I didn't have there at the table from that show. So
That's awesome.
I will definitely be there next year.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
And let me just say, I'm not trying to. I don't pimp out people, but seriously, like the pickups that you have sound amazing. And for the price that you're selling for, it's ridiculous. And your show price is you're stupid if you don't get them. Like, I shouldn't say that. You're not stupid if you don't, but you're stupid if you don't get them. Because honestly, you're not going to find pickups like
He's
of that
right,
quality
dude.
for that price.
Wound
in
by
your
the
hand.
guy that you're talking to.
I'm just saying, I have them in my guitars.
I have them in my guitars.
So if you're at a show and you see Jared, for Pete's sakes, I would grab some of those.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
just
you.
saying.
I can
I'm just
report.
saying.
Grab one.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Anyways,
We had the guitar shred contest too.
yes.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I called the winner
And,
too.
yeah, we picked the winner.
Yeah, he was good.
He was fun.
With celebrity judge Jeff Schroeder from Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Pat, previous guest. So we got to hang out and talk with him for a while. That was really cool because
That is one of the nicest guys in music.
And he has excellent suggestions for restaurants.
yes.
Yeah, foodie.
Yeah, you have to tell him that story because that just speaks to the generosity of like someone who
Yes.
I'd call him a rock star.
Yeah, I'd call him a rock star.
Why not?
So we were sitting there talking, and he basically just said, we said, where do we go to eat? Because we knew from previous conversations that he's a bit of a foodie, and he said, okay, you got to go to Longman and Eagle, and we said, all right. I'm not going to question that.
Yeah, well,
Jeff
he says
we go.
It's not super expensive. They don't take reservations. They've got great whiskey selection, and everything he said was true.
Yeah, so we showed up. We had an amazing time. Then I get back home, and my phone had died, and I checked my emails, and there's a message from Jeff, and he said, okay, so this is what you need to do. And he literally like regurgitated the menu in the email just to make sure that we had a good experience. And I was like, dang, man, he did not have to do that. And that was solid. And
that's been my experience with him too, is like just one of the nicest guys, most humble people, most giving people. And,
yeah. And we know at the show, it wasn't, hey, I'm Jeff the Rockstar. It was like, we sat and talked about guitar stuff for, good 15, 20 minutes, which was cool. That's all you want, right? So, anyhow.
And Jeff Tweedy showed up too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I talked right over that. You want to dump that woman again?
Jeff Tweedy was there. So, successful show when those two are in your presence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
So,
yeah, it was great. There was a very diverse crowd. People were, it just, we've said this so many times. Go to the guitar shows, whether they are proper guitar shows, whether they're gear swaps, whether it's a pedal show. We've seen a couple of these springing up. We just the weekend before was Fear the Riff, There's another one in Philadelphia, and I think in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's
or
the final,
a couple months.
That's November. Yeah,
not a couple months, a couple weeks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The community is in need of these things. Tell other people that play to go to them as well, because they don't always get the best air coverage. I think yours did pretty fair as far as like just getting the word out, but a lot of times they don't, and it's such a great experience, and you get to hang out with other guitar people and get cool stuff,
and you get to touch the guitar. And generally, my experience with shows has been the prices are more than fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's really important as a vendor, I'm speaking now, to have foot traffic. So, a lot of vendors go through a lot of, time and expense and hassle to have booth space. And at the very least, even if you're just interested in seeing, maybe you're not looking to buy anything, but you just want to see some really cool guitars, pedals, amps. And there were some really cool guitars, pedals, and amps at this show.
Yeah, there sure were.
Yeah, when I was younger, I would go to the guitar shop and shows with my dad just to pass time, and it was special. So even if you're not going to go to buy, just take your brother, or your dad, or your sister, or whoever, and just have a good time and gaze.
Buy some picks.
Yeah.
So aside from promoting guitar shows in general, I kind of wanted to ask you guys what, having just done this and knowing that there are these sort of new things popping up, what are your opinions on the actual state of the guitar community, maybe directly relating towards these shows, maybe not? I feel like because they are out there, but they don't get a lot of attention, that's saying something about the community. But then these new ones spring up. So I want to know what you guys think.
Well, speaking as someone who participates in a lot of these, I think you guys hit on a lot of points that the guiding principle behind this gear swap was, I wanted to make it, at its core, it's a guitar swap and there's people there buying and selling gear, but I wanted it to be something more than that, where it was kind of a festive event. So you've got your food trucks, you've got live music, you've got all these other things that kind of contribute to it, so that even if you're not a musician, you can tag along and there's stuff to entertain you and make it so you're not completely bored while you're with your musician friend, waiting there. Mm-hmm. We also wanted to make it kind of family friendly. So we had a woman in the neighborhood who does a lot of classes for kids, like music classes and sing-alongs. And, so she was there doing that throughout the day. So, we wanted to make it family friendly. I think, we've probably all seen you do these shows, and a lot of times it's real hit and miss. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes the attendance is kind of poor. And so how do you kind of reinvent the wheel and do something that's going to draw more people in? And this was kind of the idea that we had, was like, let's make it more of like kind of a street festival event where you've got these other things that can kind of complement what, like we said, at its core, it's kind of like a guitar swap, but there's other fun stuff to do while you're there. And
I think that billing it that way makes a big difference. I think billing it that way really did make a big difference. I mean, I've been to a lot of shows, and I've never seen so many families, especially a lot of kids, at shows. I mean, most of the time, it's
old dudes.
It's a bunch of old dudes hanging out, kicking tires. And this was really cool to see that mix.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, that's definitely one of the driving principles of it. So it's good that it's working. I think if you're going to continue to have these type of shows, you've got to do something different, because we've all been to these ones where the clientele is kind of dwindling, and you need to do something different to draw,
Well, and also we had some nonprofit tables there, and
that was important to us too, is to have like kind of a charitable element of it. And we're going to expand on that in future gear swaps, I think, too, where maybe we have some kind of fundraising component or something. But but the charities that we did have, they're nonprofits, but they focus on music in some way. So it all kind of fits together, and it was very conscious on our part to like include those people.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm sure you're already coming off of that. You're excited. What do you think you might have you been thinking about next year?
Not too much.
No.
No, we've thought. I actually put out a survey to both vendors and attendees, so I'm getting a lot of good suggestions about.
We
what
got
they
to fill
thought.
that out, guys.
Yeah. Please do. Google Docs, amazing. You can create like anonymous surveys for stuff, and people can just click the link and submit their answers, and it gives me good ideas for future, because like I said, it's one thing for me to think of it coming from the standpoint of an event organizer, but it's an entirely different experience for someone that actually attended it, or in your case, a vendor, and it's important to me that we try and focus on like what went well and what we can improve. And
so, okay, I'm going to share some of my hopes and dreams.
Oh, please do.
Please do.
For the next one, which is going to be even bigger and even better, and we will totally be there.
Yay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to plan for that, I think. So, silent auction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think that would be super fun, because one thing is that all the vendors that are there, like, I 100% totally understand and agree with the idea of like, give the people who are coming out there something to chew on for like the free prizes and stuff. Great. But for everybody else that made a trip out there, it would be cool to be able to get something and outside of like just browsing the table.
That is a really good idea.
Thank you.
How about a live
great
auction with a live auctioneer?
Oh, that would be kind of fun. The hell?
So maybe like free tank of gas.
Right.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. So also, I would love to see, and every single show I go to, I end up saying this at the end. I'm like, why aren't there more pedal builders attending the shows? That is one of the most accessible pieces of gear, and
Pedal
for
Todd.
sure the most talked about. I would argue probably the most purchased item in the guitar world on a daily basis.
Next to pickups and pick guards.
Next to pickups and pickups. And there was, Chicago Stompworks was there, and that guy was getting rid of his pedals for super cheap, like half price.
There were
for the
more
show.
pedal vendors there than there are at larger shows in
Yes,
Columbus.
that's true.
Yeah, Cusack, Mojo Hand were both there.
Yeah.
Great guys.
Yep. And Red House Electronics, obviously, Mike was there.
Obviously, yep.
Great pedals.
And then there was one or two that were, everybody kind of maybe had a smattering of pedals, but I would like to see more there, because I think that's something that people obviously really get excited about.
Yeah, I agree, and it certainly wasn't for lack of trying.
Yeah. This is not a reflection on you guys.
Right.
Just to be
No,
100% clear.
What we do, like, we have so many connections with pedal builders, so we definitely reached out to a lot of them.
Sure.
But I agree. Like,
And I would recommend for pedal builders attending to have a pedal board so that people can sample or try out the pedals.
Gotta have that.
Yeah, and actually, Chicago Stompworks had a really smart thing. He had his hooked up to an MP3 player, so I guess you get to do it with the looper too. But that allowed him to just you could walk up, and it was like going to like a science museum or something. And you're just pushing all the buttons and twisting all the knobs, and you can hear what it does to the signal. It was great idea. Red House Electronics, Mike Trombley was actually playing, and he's a wicked good player. So he's playing so that you could get the maximized effect out of each of the pedals. So anyways, stuff like that is pretty great. I think anything that you are able to, like the whole junk drawer thing, bring your junk drawer full of stuff.
Well, that's, Gear Swap implies that.
Yeah.
Yeah, once in a
Jared,
while you get a guy that comes in and he says, I need one gold knob. That's a Grover left-hand side, yada yada. And there's guys that look for little, odds and ends like that.
Those left-handed knobs are
Yeah.
hard to
Really
find.
rare.
No, the 3 and 3, on a Gibson
Tuner.
headstock. Yeah, tuner knobs or whatever. I meant tuner knob. I am a knob. Okay.
Yes.
Jared, what would you like to see at these shows?
More of?
Yeah. Or, just like, hey, we're giving him cool ideas right now.
Well, I'd like to see more vintage guitars because that's my personal love when it comes to gear.
Yeah.
Is vintage guitars. Like Jim's guitars out of Pennsylvania. He wasn't at this show, but at other shows he always brings a big, busload of old vintage cool guitars. And listen, they're really expensive. So
It's more of a museum
look
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's more of a
I've
look
never-
and admire type of thing. I don't.
But for a young musician who maybe has never seen
He's not gonna have a
a Nocaster, an original
$20,000
Nocaster, that's your opportunity to
Yeah.
do that, which is kind of cool.
That's why you go to the show. You want to run into something really cool that you don't see every day,
Yeah.
and especially you don't see at any old mom and pop shop in town.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Tony?
I mean, I overall, I was very happy. I think we deal with it at our Columbus shows that, there's people that aren't looking to spend
Sure.
$5, $10, $15, $20,000 or more. on a
Most
guitar.
people aren't.
no,
And I always cater, like if I'm bringing guitars to a show, it's usually the under 500 crowd.
yeah,
And those are, pretty affordable for a lot of people.
Some dude had a Gibson Explorer, a 96, that was so cherry.
Oh yeah.
The antiquing on it was amazing, and it's still for sale.
Was that next to the Halloween colored T-shirts?
I'm just saying, hit me up.
But I felt the foot traffic was very manageable.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to some shows where people literally can't move, or
Yep.
they have to move so fast
Yep.
they don't stop at your table. We were able to, actually talk to people. Like I said earlier, I mean, people that said, "Hey, we listened to you guys," and that was really cool.
That was a
face-to-face feedback.
yeah.
We really enjoyed
was.
that.
I just want to say thank you guys so much for putting that show on. I can only imagine how much work that was to do on your own, and to organize it and have it run so well. Even Heath from Rock and Roll Vintage commented on how well it was run, and he was
And
very
he does
complimentary.
a lot of shows.
Yeah,
It's really nice.
I see him like every show I go to.
yeah.
Every show.
So
That's great. I appreciate it. Well, couldn't have done it without your participation, so that's great.
So everybody, mark your calendar loosely for
Sometime
some
in
time
October.
next year.
Yes.
And,
Sometime in October next year.
Yes.
Yeah,
Pre Halloween, October.
Yeah, and in the meantime, check out the local guitar shows around you. And if you don't have one, then put one on.
Start one.
Start
Yeah,
one.
go. I mean,
Yeah.
Vintage Guitar Magazine always has a really good list of big and small shows all over the place.
Yeah.
And that's a good place to start. If you don't subscribe, you can go to the website and they list all of those.
Yeah,
things.
and if you just do the search for guitar shows, it's like there's one page. It's literally one page that all of
Yep.
them are listed on.
So what was your favorite part of the show? Whether it was like something you saw, a feature, some food you ate,
Well, the food was great.
someone you met, anything.
I really happen to like the shred contest,
Nice.
and I did see a few guitars that caught my eye as well. I saw an F-hole Les Paul 3 pickup. It was a custom, very light. I thought that was clever, but yeah, those two things kind of stick out.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I just enjoy. I walked the floor. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times, and there were some really interesting things there, and I felt the pricing was overall pretty good. I mean, there's always a bit of haggling that goes on, but it was a really good mix. I mean, you had LPs, you had parts, you had
The girl behind us had cassette tapes for sale.
yeah.
And
That one I don't quite understand,
A
but-
ton of multi effects.
Yeah.
like a whole bunch of multi effects.
She had a really cool
That was
tape.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought the food was really good. There was a taco truck or
Soul food truck.
Yeah,
neighbor.
soul food
Yeah,
truck.
he lives right across the street from us.
Yeah,
He never parked his taco truck out in front of the house, so it's very disappointing.
Unfortunately.
I actually bought some Alchemy coffee.
Yes.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Oh, and I have to say I forget the beer vendor's name, but
The free beer.
he was giving samples of beer.
Shout out to Maplewood Brewing.
Maplewood Brewing.
Yep.
Excellent
Tall boys.
stuff.
They weren't samples. They were
full
tall boys.
Yeah.
See, that's why they ran out in 2 hours.
That's
Yeah,
right.
but it was good brew and made the show go a lot
for
slower.
Yeah. My favorite parts were being able to meet people that listen to the show. I honestly that was just so great. And then meeting you guys in person, that meant a lot to me. And so
seeing your shop.
Those are definitely my two favorite parts of the show. But my absolute favorite part of the entire trip was chilling back at the Airbnb and just strumming and singing, strumming and a picking and a singing the songs. It was
Picking
great.
and a grinning.
Yeah. Now, on the way home,
we forgot about the
boy.
last 1/8 of the
so
trip.
we stopped in at Rock and Roll Vintage, and we kind of mentioned all that, and business was done, and it was great, and we got to, stand amongst some awesome gear. That is a great shop.
And approachable.
Very approachable, awesome gear that you're not going to find all over the place.
Pretty
I was
cool
so
stuff.
impressed. And we headed over to Chicago Music Exchange. Tried not to break a few tellies.
Very clean store.
Yeah, and then we stopped over at a couple other places, and it was great. However, breaking down in Richmond, Virginia.
No, not Virginia.
I mean, it felt like it. Richmond,
We
Indiana.
overshot Columbus by about 500
Richmond,
miles.
Indiana. We
At
spent
a burger joint.
We spent 3 hours in a closed Burger Time
They closed as soon as we
parking
got
lot.
there.
It was.
That's living. That's living.
It was. Well, it was something.
It was Tales of the Road, Part 5.
It was rough, and
Fun side of life.
it was weird. The car just absolutely started freaking out, and we pulled over, and it just up and died.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we weren't expecting that, but
We got a little extra
these two
time.
guys were still in the car. Mike went home with his girlfriend.
Smart guy.
He was out of there.
But not like they had any choices, but they were very kind and they were very patient because it was a stressful situation. And then we had to take a flatbed tow truck all the way back
That was interesting too.
Oh, that was very
from Richmond,
interesting.
Indiana to Columbus, Ohio,
Yeah.
in the back of a tow truck.
Oh, that is awful. I'm sorry.
It was
Well,
crazy.
it
What are
was,
you gonna do?
That was okay.
Every trip has to have a little pinch
You
of
will
bad.
always talk about it for the rest of
Exactly.
your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, even though we did break down, I would if you told me what was going to happen the whole time, I would just go do it again. I don't care. It was such a great time.
Yeah.
Great weekend.
Yeah.
Worth everything.
See, look what fun you can have if you go out there with your guitar buddies and do things. It's
Oh
great.
my gosh.
All right, everybody. Let's get this to the next step and then outro out of this thing. It's time for
Would you rather? Okay, on this week's Would You Rather, Johnny's got to make a pedal out of a wah pedal, Crybaby. And it can either be a tremolo or a vibe. Which one
Okay.
are you going to choose?
All right, ladies first.
I like the tremolo. I'm gonna go with the tremolo.
Okay. Any particular reason why?
It just has this really warm feeling to me.
Okay.
No, that's the vibe.
Yeah.
This kind of
Talking
show.
about guitars.
G-strings, vibes, what have
We
you.
got 'em all.
Sorry, guys.
I can't take him anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So you got you're going Trem. All right, Tony.
I'm going with Trem.
I'm going vibrato.
Okay.
I mean, now I believe on my 4 on the floor, I did talk about the Dunlop Rotovibe,
Yes.
which is kind of in the same thing. But if Johnny's building it, I'm buying it.
Okay.
All right.
Vibrato.
Yeah, those Rotovibes are nice, but whew, a little bit of clams for those things.
Nah, clams,
Yeah.
schmams.
Yeah, Jared.
Yeah. Vibrato. Because I like the idea of controlling the intensity with my foot.
Kind of like your mouth. Hey, what's that? Controlling the vibrato of the foot with the
Why
mouth.
is everybody always picking on me? That's a good one.
Okay, Johnny.
I got to go with trem, but
Of course he's going to go with
interestingly, like, what would you have the foot pedal control? You could do like speed. You could do depth.
Yeah, that's
You
what I
could
was
go.
saying.
You could go crazy with
Well,
some of the
pick it
options.
then.
Okay, how about a center detente that if you push down, increases the speed,
Yep.
or if you back it off, it increases intensity.
I'm liking what you're saying.
Interesting.
But yeah, no, I think it would be interesting. Maybe this is a genesis of an idea that we can
Available next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The crybaby variable tremolo.
Nice.
But I would love to put a tremolo circuit in like a crybaby pedal where you could adjust maybe one or with a switch, a couple of the parameters. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But definitely tremolo. I mean, without question, tremolo is my favorite effect. So
Yes. Well, that's where this was spawned from your earlier comment. So
yes.
I myself I'm going to go with vibe. I like a little bit more control on my tremolo. Man, this is fun. I like doing these. We should do more.
Yes.
All right, everybody. We need to wrap this show up.
Boo.
I know. But I do want to thank our executive producers for their support of this broadcast.
Who would that be?
It's a broadcast podcast.
Oh.
That is Tom Berezin,
Thank you.
Martin Cliff,
Hi.
David Wolfson,
Yep.
Matt Bremer,
Yeah.
Carlos Mancha,
Thanks for the order.
Peter Marshall, Derek Fitzer, and Robin Smith. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you guys all so much. We truly appreciate it. If you would like to become an executive producer, why don't you head on over to patreon.com/The Guitar Knobs to find out how.
Parking
Or
is
get
free.
other stuff. And parking is free. I don't know what that means. Anyways, all right, everybody. Subscribe!
Yeah.
This week's Would You Rather. Johnny has to build a pedal with a... forgot what it's called.
The hand is going, but it is. The words ain't
What is it
coming
called?
out.
Crybaby.
With a crybaby thing. A crybaby pedal. All right, I got it.
Okay.
Clap again.
Crybaby shit.
I'm keeping that. Are you kidding?
All right.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/The Guitar Knobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.